So today I am in Scotland. Dan and I are exploring the Scottish Highlands, and in today's video I'm going to bring you along and show you all the photos that we're taking. And I also wanted to talk to you about a few simple things that you can do to start improving your photography. So I'm just going to place you guys up here. I just always touch the screen by accident. Alright, so I've set you guys up on this beautiful cobblestone fence covered in moss with a super reflective river running underneath it. Scotland is literally the most picturesque place I've ever been to. So I just wanted to run through the camera gear that we'll be using in today's road trip through the Scottish Highlands. Normally I like to keep my camera equipment while traveling very small and simple because I don't really want to be thinking about gear and carrying everything around and stuff while I'm traveling. But Dan and I are here in Scotland because we were hired to capture a wedding. I was doing photography and Dan was doing videography. I have all my gear with me, so I thought I may as well bring it along while we're traveling just to get a few extra photos and have a few more options when it comes to focal lengths and camera bodies and things like that. The wedding was 3 days ago now and it was absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to edit the photos and to be able to share them with the couple. So the first camera that I'm filming on right now is the Sony A7III with the Sony 28mm f2 lens, and I'll be filming this entire vlog on this camera and lens combination and also taking a few photos on this as well throughout the day. I also have my Canon 5D Mark IV, my Canon 35mm 1.4, and I have a new addition today, which is actually Dan's lens, which I will be borrowing, the Samyang 135T 2.2 lens. So I realized while here in Scotland that a lot of the things that I want to photograph are really far away, so a 70-200 would be so handy to have on this trip in the Highlands. So the only thing we have that is as close as possible to that is Dan's manual focus 135. So we're going to use that today and see how it goes. So yesterday we actually went up to the Isle of Skye, which was absolutely amazing. I had a video idea that we started filming and it didn't really work out, so I don't have that video to post for you guys. So here are a couple of random clips from yesterday instead and some photos that we took as well. So we've just pulled over on the side of the road because there's this beautiful landscape all around us, and I really want to take some portraits with Dan and I standing in the middle of this little road that you can see here, and you've got the beautiful mountains in the background. And then that way as well, there's all these like forest kind of areas, and we've got a river as well. So we're going to take a bunch of portraits while we're here. We just stopped off on the side of the road because I want to take photos of this castle that's somewhere here beside me. And I had to switch to the Samyang 135mm T 2.2 lens because the castle is quite far away. And I'm framing it with these beautiful yellow flowers in the foreground just to give the photo a little bit more depth and a bit of color as well. The ground feels shaky when you stomp on it. Can we move back? I don't want to be. We're like not even that close to the cliff and it just doesn't feel stable. So we finally made it to the Isle of Skye, and Dan and I are just walking around the mountains here, just taking photos of each other and filming video because this is incredible. very cool. Our first stop of the day is in the Trotti Castle, which is actually just a hotel and a restaurant. Which brings me to my first point of business. For me, one of the biggest things that helped me improve was bringing my camera with me everywhere. By bringing your camera with you when you're going on a road trip or on a holiday or on just like a little day trip somewhere, is that you're constantly keeping your eyes peeled for anything that you could possibly take a photo of. So this will basically help improve your creative eye. This would really come in handy if you're a wedding photographer or a portrait photographer and you've got a short amount of time and limited locations to take amazing photos of someone. So here is the castle that we made our way to. It looks pretty cool, but it is in harsh sunlight. We've got the sun coming in from this way, which is pointing right at the castle. And if you guys know my style of photography, I love to shoot backlit. So because I still want to get at least one photo, I actually saw this little kind of entranceway with, oh, well, there's a car there now, but with all these kind of like trees there in the background. And instead of being harshly lit, we're at least side lit and can kind of get a backlit-ish shot. So we're going to take some photos here to start with. So while those weren't the most amazing shots that I'll post on my Instagram account, we did still create something from the weird lighting that we had to work with and the location as well. So yeah, always bring your camera with you everywhere and try to get a shot even if you don't think there's anything there.
Where are we going next?
Glenfinnan Viaduct. You're a wizard, Ari. We made it to the Hogwarts Express train in Scotland. It is so stunning in person and so much bigger than I actually thought it would be. One of the next things that I find that really helps me as a portrait photographer is to spend time on both sides of the camera. So that means getting photos of yourself. If you have no one to take photos of you, then I would recommend to try getting into self-portraiture as well. You can try that out. So this tip is especially helpful if you really struggle with directing the person that you're taking photos of. Putting yourself in their shoes can really help you understand how they feel to be in front of the camera and can give you some ideas of what you need to say in order to make themselves feel more comfortable, because these are the things that you're telling yourself when you're getting your photo taken. So Dan and I are going to take some photos of each other in front of this bridge, try and get like a portrait / landscape kind of shot, so you guys can watch that. Blah 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 blah. There's a little spider on my camera. You can take him off.
Gone. Kinda is swinging.
Where? I just had a spider on my camera. Oh wait, he built a web on my lens. Alright. We're gonna go for a little walk under the train tracks just to get the full effect of how big they really are, which it's massive. If you ask someone to take a photo of you or you're getting a self-portrait, think about where you are positioning yourself in regards to the camera and the location, and think about how you would convey that to a person that you're taking photos of. We're like right under the bridge. Oh, it looks so cool. I don't know if I'm pointing at it because I don't have a screen to see what I'm filming. So now I'm going to the other side of the train track. When you're standing in front of the camera and you're getting your photo taken, think about how it feels if you don't hear any feedback from the photographer as they're taking photos of you. Does it feel a bit awkward? Do you wish they would say you're doing good? Or do you wish that they would tell you where to put your arms maybe? Little things like that. Sometimes prompts as a photographer can be really helpful to make a client feel more comfortable. Had a wee outfit change. So I put the wrong thing in the GPS before. We were at Untitled Castle, which is literally just a restaurant and a hotel, as I mentioned. We wanted to go to old Untitled Castle, so that's where we are now. I feel like when I'm traveling is when I get the most photos of myself because I want pictures in the places that we're visiting. And likewise, whoever I'm traveling with, I like to take some photos of them. So the next thing that I think can really help you improve with your portrait photography is taking photos of your significant other or your sister or your family or whoever you're traveling with or whoever you can, because this is really cool. Because it's someone you know, you'll have a little bit more confidence to give them direction in what you want them to do for the photo. I know technically it was filmed in New Zealand, but being here in Scotland really makes me want to watch The Hobbit again. Definitely want to get some photos of you.
No.
I feel like also family members and people that you're close with will also be more honest with you in telling you what they think of the photo and what they look like, so you can kind of work together in order to achieve a really good photo. We've made our way to pretty much the last stop of today, and the last stop in Scotland really, because today's our last day before we head back to the airport tomorrow to go to Gdańsk, Poland. And we are in Glencoe. Did I just say that? I can't even remember. I'm so tired. We've been doing so much driving while we're here, but it's so worth it. Look at this. Woo. We're just on the side of the road and there's this little pathway up here to the fields with some beautiful mountains literally just surrounding us everywhere you look. One thing I wanted to mention when it comes to improving your photography is that gear is not everything. So I know that's a bit ironic because on this trip I do have quite a lot of gear with me, but as I mentioned before, that's only because I was here to shoot a wedding, so I have it all with me already and I may as well bring it with me. But when I go on other trips or road trips at home, sometimes I bring the bare minimum gear. So usually I bring the Sony A7III and the 28mm, which I'm using right now. And I feel like it's really good to have limitations to push you creatively to think how you can make one focal length work for everything that you want to capture. And sometimes I don't even bring a camera at all and I have to rely on taking photos on my phone, so using my compositional skills and working out lighting and try and get a good as possible photo on something super basic such as a phone. Gosh, but I'm just so obsessed with this. I really want to take some photos. Doesn't look like Dan's coming, so I'm going to take some landscape photos instead. I'm going to shoot at 1.4 because I love the way the light looks when I shoot with a wide aperture, and I also don't always want the foreground to be tack sharp in a landscape photo. I just want the attention of the photo to be the sharpest part. So in this case, it's the surrounding mountains that we have around us. So I'm shooting with my 35mm lens. And the lighting here is kind of tricky today because we've got these clouds just rolling in every couple of seconds. Dan's coming. That looks really cool there. I was talking about how you can improve your photography with any camera you have, even an iPhone.
Yes.
Actually, I learned how to do photography, like composition and posing my sister, because I didn't have anyone else to take photos of, and finding my style as well on a point and shoot camera. So there you go. Dan, come on. And this is our last stop of the day. It's so pretty. There's also a waterfall just over there. It's really windy, so I hope you can hear me. For this shot, I want to get in nice and close to the water, so I think I'm going to walk over the bridge and just down there to the grass and see what kind of shot we can get. These mountains are crazy. Oh, that is looking so cool. So I'm gonna get crouched down so I'm nice and close to the water. I might move over so we don't see that grass. Here is perfect. So I'm shooting this photo on the Sony A7III and the 28mm f2 because the 35 I don't think would be wide enough. This lens is barely wide enough to capture the mountains. I was able to take photos for about 2 seconds before the wind started picking up, and now you can't see the reflection at all in the water. Alright, I lied. Last stop of the day, we just decided to stop on the side of the road yet again, and we're gonna run up this mountain and see if we can see the view on the other side. So we're gonna go all the way up there, just to that one.
Stumbling out of the bar, I'm picking up change off the street. Yeah, I'm cruising around slightly by.
This is amazing! The view is so amazing! That was so worth the run up that hill. And there's like no people around us or anything. This is perfect.
Yeah, this state is nice and people are open-minded. I gotta keep driving till I stop caring.
Doing a good that rock. Well, this seems like a good a time as any to finish off today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed seeing the Scottish Highlands with us and seeing all the photos and the video that we filmed. Do you want to come and say bye?
What's up?
Say bye.
Bye.
Woo!
We're gonna fall and die.
No, the cliff's like all the way down there. Thank you, Dan, for all the beautiful photos you took.
Oh, good.
You're a good photographer.
I know.
Alright, that's enough of that. But yeah, I would love to hear what you thought about the photos down in the comments, what you thought about the 135mm lens that we used yesterday, and yeah, I just love hearing from you guys, so let me know your thoughts down below. But as always, I make new videos every single Wednesday, so I will see you guys all next week. Bye! Oh, and thank you for watching.